Well, good early morning to you, Central Georgia. Once again, we've been seeing these storms fire up, and they're firing up, say, at the unexpected time. They're supposed to fire up with the heat of the day, but it looks like they're breaking almost every rule of meteorology, and they're firing up actually in the early morning where there is no daytime heating. And we're seeing that we have this severe thunderstorm for the eastern side of Putnam County and the western side of Hancock County. So this is actually right now over Lake St. Clair. This follows actually two severe thunderstorms that actually moved over Baldwin County. So they just had a lightning show, and it was definitely loud in Baldwin County. Once again, this happened in a time where these storms were not supposed to occur, and that's just the weather for you. That's meteorology that goes against sometimes logic. So here's everything that we need to know with this severe thunderstorm warning. The worst of the storm is going into Hancock County. So the official speed in the direction of the storm, as I get the information from the National Weather Service, it is moving 10 miles southeast of Eatonton. So it's moving at a speed of 25 miles per hour. So it's going into Hancock County. There's the warning. Here's the worst of the storm. As you can see, the core just north of Lake St. Clair, just a little bit northwest of Devereaux. And you're seeing just increased lightning strikes over there. I'm just going to remove the warning, and I'm going to show you the wind speeds as of right now. And seeing that the gusty winds are along that core of lightning, as you saw just a moment ago, the pink core just north of Lake St. Clair. And it looks like that pocket of gusty winds is still in Putnam County, just towards the southeast of Eatonton. We also have another pocket of gusty winds, which is just south of Sparta. So these are some winds that could potentially uproot trees if it all depends on the saturation of the ground. But it could potentially be damaging. We certainly hope not. But we're seeing that these winds are just relatively gusty to the storm, and that's one of the main reasons why the storm is severe. We're going to go check the hail. Hail was one of the stuff that we were worried about. We're seeing that we have a hail core right near that pocket of gusty winds and increased rain and lightning. Once again, in that same area, just north of Lake St. Clair. Here we go. It doesn't look like it's an inch in diameter. That's one good thing. So let's check the official size. Just under an inch in diameter. So still relatively big, but not so big that could be damage inducing. I'm going to take this out. So we just have that one main hail core just north of Lake St. Clair. We also have another hail core south of Sparta. It is just a quarter of an inch. So not necessarily that big, but still, hail is hail. And it could be a nuisance to potential cars that are outside. Let's go back to the radar. Let's bring back the warning box. There you go. And I'm going to scale it back. So in case everyone, or if anyone's watching from the other areas, so if anyone's watching in Macon, Warner Robins, Jeffersonville, Fort Valley, here you go. Once again, this storm is just north of Milledgeville after two severe thunderstorm warnings just moved into Baldwin County. It's just now moving into Hancock County as of right now. So there we go. So most of Central Georgia is dry, but once again, we knew that these storms were going to be scattered in nature, hit or miss, and not everyone in Central Georgia saw storms. So this is the severe thunderstorm warning, and we also have some more lightning for the eastern side of Hancock County, just south of Sparta. So I bet the residents of Sparta are hearing those rumbles of thunder. We're also monitoring this thunderstorm right here moving over Forsyth. This one technically is not severe, but it's under a special weather statement. So what that means is winds are reaching 45 miles per hour, not necessarily 60 miles per hour, but still damage potentially inducing winds, and is also producing some increased lightning strikes. So we're going to keep watching this in case this produces a severe thunderstorm warning. But once again, the only severe thunderstorm warning is in Putnam County and in Hancock County, just north of Baldwin County. I'm going to go back and zoom in. So we know that the speed of the storm is around 25 miles per hour, and the worst of the storm is related to this core just north of Lake St. Clair. It's now moving into Hancock County. Let's do a little bit of prediction here. Moving to the northeast right here. All right, so what I'm drawing right here, I'm trying to estimate the path of this core right over here. And it's going to go into Mayfield. Technically, Mayfield is not into central Georgia. But I say there is a chance that the worst of the winds could potentially clip Sparta. So this is just the estimate. So probably the worst of the storm will probably leave Hancock County by 212. Potentially could clip Sparta. Once again, going back to the base velocity, we're seeing that the winds have been decreasing in Lake St. Clair. All right, so say like just 5 minutes ago, we saw that the winds were gusty in that area. Now they're starting to decrease. Good thing, but technically this is not under a severe thunderstorm warning. But notice here, the winds are picking up in Sparta. So that just goes to show that if your area is not under the warning, I mean, you can still face some really gusty winds. So yeah, Sparta facing some pretty high winds. Let's see the estimated speed of these winds, around 38 miles per hour. I'd say because of the proximity of the radar, it might be a little bit stronger than that. So we have those gusty winds right now just south of Sparta. Thankfully, the pocket of gusty winds just north of Lake St. Clair has died down. Going back to the hail core is decreasing in size. So let's see, it was just under an inch a couple of moments ago. Let's play the game. What's the size now? Just under half an inch. There we go. So that's good. Whenever we see the hail cores decreasing in size, always a good sign in terms of the overall health of the storm. But I'm still a little worried about the wind speeds near Sparta. I mean, technically that's not under the warning, but still could cause some inclement weather right now in Sparta. Let's bring it back to the reflectivity. Once again, lightning strikes, a pocket of lightning just towards the east of Sparta. But we're seeing that core of rain and lightning, where it was producing some decent sized hail north of Lake St. Clair, just getting into the border of Putnam and Sparta on the western side, that's starting to fizzle out. It's becoming a little bit more disorganized. So there are some promising signs in terms of the overall health of the storm. And honestly, by the rules of meteorology, that's how it should be, because I mean, it's in the early morning. And these storms are supposed to be set up by the heat of the day, and that's not what's happening right now. So I'd say that this warning would probably expire at its set time at 1:30. But once again, we're checking out the storm also in Monroe County. It's now leaving towards the east of Forsyth. Still not severe, and we're seeing less lightning, so that's good. That's a really good sign. But once again, it could be causing some damaging wind. Actually, no. It looks like the winds are not that bad. Let's see right here. Yeah, around 22 miles per hour. Earlier it was around 45 miles per hour. So let's get into the questions, if there are any questions right now. Let's see here. All right. Going back towards base velocity, let's check back on the winds in Sparta. There we go. All right. Still some relatively gusty winds just towards the east of Sparta. And then we're also seeing a new hail core right over just towards the southeast of Sparta there. So, okay, a new hail core just developed under 1/4 of an inch. All right. So I'm getting word that Facebook is having trouble posting, so I can't see the questions to the stream on Facebook. I'm going to go over to YouTube in case there was any questions over there. All right. I can't see any questions as of right now on YouTube. So if anyone's watching on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and ask away on the questions. Right now we're just trying to get the Facebook stream set up just so that we can see if anyone has any questions, because yeah, these storms have been absolutely unpredictable in terms of today. The National Weather Service, at all levels, National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center, bringing that level 2 into these areas that are under the severe thunderstorm warning. They backtracked it, but it looks like they should have kept it, because I mean, the warnings are now firing up, but at the wrong time. So here we go. Once again, we're seeing the winds now moving out of that severe thunderstorm warning, but it looks like still some relatively gusty winds in Sparta, dropping down to 30 miles per hour. Say it's going to increase a little bit. I'd say 35, 40 miles per hour in Sparta, but still, I'd say it's under the threshold of severe thunderstorm warning. All in all, promising signs so far. I don't think any part of the storm is severe. Now, it is a little different than what it was 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago, I mean, these storms were firing up all over Baldwin County, producing heavy pockets of lightning, and we had those hail cores as well. Now, we have this pocket of rain and lightning still just lingering along that border of Hancock and Putnam County, producing some heavy rain. We just checked moments ago about the hail core. Hail core relatively low. It's around 1/4 of an inch. All right, now we're seeing it continuously move towards the east. So now most of the storm is now affecting Hancock County rather than Putnam County. Putnam County just seeing some steady to light showers, especially towards the east of Eatonton. But I still say that for the residents of Eatonton, they can still hear those rumbles of thunder, especially way off towards the east, just north of Lake St. Clair, as the storm progressively moves towards the east into Hancock County. And we have those pockets of lightning strikes still firing up towards the east of Sparta. So I'd say now the worst part of the storm, even though it's not in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon, the worst part of the storm is east of Sparta, right over here, with these pockets of lightning and rain. And then the winds are also heaviest along that corridor just towards the east of Sparta. Seeing some relatively gusty winds also a little bit north of the polygon, so northwest of Sparta. There we go. So it's 1:30, and that severe thunderstorm warning polygon has expired, just like we expected. It looks like those storms just absolutely weakened. So we're going to check back. We're going to take a zoom out. Let's see how the current state of central Georgia is under with these storms. So this storm in Putnam and Hancock County that weekend, that's fizzled out, so I don't expect much more activity with these storms. I'd say rumbles of thunder is possible for the near future, so the next hour or so, but not as bad as what it was an hour ago. Here we go. We have that storm in Forsyth, or near Forsyth in Monroe County. It was a special weather statement earlier, so it had winds of up to 45 miles per hour. It looks like that's weakening and transitioning into mostly rain. We still have some relatively recent lightning strikes. So it looks like most of the activity is confined just towards the north. And ironically, where that original level 2 out of 5 risks of severe weather was before it was once again backtracked into a level 1 out of 5 risk. seems like they should have just kept that level 2, because that actually would have been accurate, but it would have been accurate if they mentioned that it was going to be overnight rather than due to the heat of day in the afternoon. Models did not pick up on this, so it's going to be a good case study to see in terms of how these storms behaved and what caused these storms rather than the heat of the day. We also have this pocket of rain in Upson County, but not producing any lightning. We'll monitor this, see if it turns into anything severe. By logic, by the rules of meteorology, this should not strengthen. We don't have the warm air. We don't have that heat of the day ingredients, but you never know. I mean, we just had 3 severe thunderstorm warnings occur in the early morning today, so we'll continue to monitor this. Once again, with this storm moving out of Monroe County, going into North Jones County, I don't expect much from it. And then, of course, anywhere south of I-16, they're completely dry. We're having a great night right now. Just confined just north of I-16, just for the most northern counties. Another cell that I'm watching right now is also this one. This seems like it's been strengthening and causing some lightning strikes. It's about to go into Jasper County, so we'll take a look at what happens. Let me check the hail. All right, they're producing some hail. Yeah, just over a ½ an inch. All right, that's something to watch. Hopefully it doesn't go over an inch in diameter. You can never say never. We still, once again, even though we don't have the severe thunderstorm warning anymore, we still have the 3 hail cores. So just east of Sparta, once again, near a ¼ of an inch. Let's check this one towards the western side of the county, Hancock County. Same size, near around a ¼ of an inch. I'd say the same for that. Okay, a little bit larger for the one in the border of Hancock and Putnam County. But once again, we're seeing that those storms that was once originally severe has become non-severe, is weakening, still producing those rumbles of thunder, lightning strikes. So still an active night in Hancock County, but hopefully the general trend of it weakening continues as we go throughout the rest of the overnight. Let's take a look at the future view. Now, once again, Future View has not done a good job at all today, so let's take a look. Let's do it with a high resolution model. This model actually did an okay job. It did better than the Future View. Let's take a look at what it has in store for us. So it says that these cells are going to dissipate in the next couple of hours. That's good. We're rooting for that. And then, yeah, we should have a period of calm weather until 8 to 9 o'clock. Timing maybe a little off, but not showing anything robust. We get into tomorrow. It looks like most of the activity is going to be, once again, around this time. This is what the Future View HER model is showing. Showing that front could pull in and produce some storms in the next 24 hours. So yeah, this time tomorrow. So 1 to 2 in the morning. And then it will cause some showers, and we're expecting another front to move in Saturday afternoon. It could produce some storms there. We'll watch if there's going to be an outlook. Actually, let me check the outlook right now if they included us. No, they haven't included us for Saturday. Okay, so we'll see if this upgrades, but we're expecting some storms for Saturday. But as you can see, for tomorrow, here's the outlook for tomorrow, or technically today. I'm still on the clock as if today is still Thursday. I know technically today is Friday, so I'm still adjusting to that. So today, all of us are within a level 1, and they're once again trying to push this level 2. So almost a similar setup. Actually, no, that's okay. That's still for today. That's still for right now. Let's see, day 2. Because these outlooks go until 4 in the morning. So day 2 technically is today. It's very confusing. So day 2 is technically today. It looks like they took us out of the risk. So that's That's going to be interesting. But all in all, tomorrow I'd say it's going to be a very similar setup. And this model, the high resolution model, which did a okay job today, I'm going to trust this more than the graph model. It says that we'll have our next round of rain around this time tomorrow. So that's the look at what's to expect for the rest of the day today, technically, since it's Friday. I'm going to go back to the radar just so that you can have one final look at what's going on in central Georgia. See, that was how it formed an hour ago. Once again, worst storms are right now in Hancock County. It was severe 5 minutes ago. Now it's turned into regular thunderstorms, but still producing some lightning and winds. And we had this storm that was originally producing winds of up to 45 miles per hour. That now weakened, and it's now transitioning into mostly rain. That's good. And we're watching out for this storm right here as it moves into Jasper County. But all in all, this storm weakened, and it's moving out. It's moving towards the east at a speed of 25 miles per hour. So we're expecting that these storms will continue to move out, still going to cause an active night for the next couple of hours for the residents of Hancock County. But for the rest of central Georgia, it should be a great night for you. So I'm going to hop off, and I'm going to still stay here until Mr. Alex Pry arrives around 3:30. But we'll continue to monitor the radar, and if we see anything that catches our eye, we will hop back onto the stream. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you have a safe rest of your overnight.